Sometimes you want to go where everybody knows your name and they're always glad you came. You want to be where you can see your troubles are all the same. You want to go where everybody knows your name. Most people recognize those words from the lyrics from the sitcom Cheers, but I want to tell you about our own version of Cheers in Easley, South Carolina. 136 East Main Street stands a place called Joe's Ice Cream Parlor. Built in 1922, later bought by Joe Leslie, it is a staple in our community. In order to tell you about Joe's, I have to tell you the story of Joe Leslie. In 1972, Joe Leslie was working at the Easley Post Office. He was working part-time and he wanted full-time hours, but unfortunately, at the time, nothing was available, and I think we'll find out later why. Romans 8:28 states, "And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose." Beside the post office where Joe worked stood Easley Ice Cream Parlor. And Easley Ice Cream Parlor just so happened to be for sale. So July 31st, 1972, Joe Leslie and his wife Carolyn took a leap of faith and bought Easley Ice Cream Parlor, now known as Joe's. His wife Carolyn worked for Southern Bell at the time, and she would spend her lunch hour going to Joe's and helping them through the lunch rush. They had two young daughters, Carol and Julie. And in an interview, Julie states that she has regrets about not helping out with the ice cream parlor as much as she should have as a teenager. But thankfully, she has been given the opportunity to make that right. Because in June of '91, Julie was living and working in North Carolina at the time. And she said that she'll never forget a phone call she made to her dad asking him, could she move back home and work at Joe's just until she found another job. 35 years later, she's still there. You see, Joe's is home to people. When you walk through the door, you are greeted and you are treated like family. It's a place where you just belong. And I can't mention Joe's without mentioning the entertainment at Joe's. There's a worker, her name is Lois Porter, and her famous line is, "It's snowing in Pickens." If you go during the lunch hours, chances are you walk in, the first thing you're gonna be told is it's snowing in Pickens. And sometimes she'll even say, make sure you get your bread, your milk, and your coconut cake. I don't know if anybody knows where that saying came from. Nobody questions it, we just roll with it. It can be a sweltering 98 degrees outside, but inside Joe's, it's always gonna be snowing in Pickens. Joe was not just a man who served food. He served others through his actions. In an interview, Julie states that she'll never forget the time that her dad called her one morning and asked her to pick up diapers. And she said, well, that's unusual. You know, I'm used to him asking for rolls of quarters, milk, ice cream, but never diapers. Because earlier that morning, a man who had fallen on hard times walked into Joe's and asked for help. And Julie said, that's who Dad was. You just felt loved by him. You never felt judged for messing up in life. Instead, you just felt his unconditional love and his willingness to pick people up. On Saturday, August 17th, 2017, Joe was called home after a long battle with cancer. At his funeral, his pastor, John Adams, states, "I maintain that the ice cream parlor became Joe's pulpit. I maintain as a believer that every believer should find his or her pulpit. I say this to you unapologetically and with great humility that Joe's Ice Cream Parlor, because of its shepherd, became the biggest church in Pickens County." Joe was the pastor and he shepherded his flock with distinction. Without Joe Leslie, there would be no Joe's Ice Cream Parlor. All of Easley felt a void when he left, but he left his legacy in the form of a little hot dog and ice cream shop in the heart of Easley, South Carolina. Joe's continues to be ran today by his wife Carolyn and his daughter Julie. Julie said that they sell an average of 1 million hot dogs every 7 years. So from the time they started in 1972, in the year 2028, they will have sold 8 million hot dogs. A little brick standalone building at 136 East Main Street is and forever will be a place where everybody knows your name. Thank you.